Hi, everybody. Welcome back to English class. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. What I want to do is take what you have been doing in science, but in Spanish, and teach you the English vocabulary for it. I know that you understand the concepts and you've been doing experiments, which is great, but I want to make sure that you know the terminology as well in English. And then we are going to take that vocabulary and we are going to use what we know and apply it to what we are doing in English. So we just read when we had our group meeting on Wednesday, we read about where our food comes from. Okay, so we're going to be doing both of those things, states of matter in science and combining it with where our food comes from in English. Okay, so here we are with our science terms. Matter is the first term. Matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. Everything is made of matter. So anything that you know in this world, whether you can see it, you can't see it, or you can touch it, you can't touch it, it is made of matter. And there are three types of matter. We have solid, liquid, and gas. Solid is a matter that keeps its own shape and has definite volume. The atoms are very close to each other. So, okay, it says matter keeps its own shape, right? Now, it means that it keeps its own shape unless something happens to it. So, like if you had that cookie right there, there's an example, right? And you took a toy hammer and you hit it, well, of course it's going to break and it's going to move and it's going to change shape because you broke it, right? But that is different. What it means by it keeps its own shape is that it doesn't change shape on its own. Something would have to happen to it in order for it to break and change shape. And has definite volume. So volume is how much, the amount of space that an object occupies or takes up. So here we see the examples of a solid are a cookie, an ice cube, and human beings. We are solid, right? We have a definite shape. The next one is a liquid. Liquid is a matter that takes the shape of its container and has definite volume. The atoms are a little far apart. This is why liquids can pour, right? So if you think about a liquid, it says it's matter that takes the shape of its container. If I said to you, what shape is a baseball? You would tell me it's round or it's a sphere, right? It's solid. That's always the shape. No matter if I put the baseball in a cup, if I put the baseball on top of my head, if I put the baseball under a table, it doesn't matter where I put the baseball. It's a solid, so it would stay in the same shape. Now, with a liquid, if I said to you, what shape is orange juice? Think about it. You tell me, what shape is orange juice? Well, that doesn't make any sense, right? Because it depends on the container that it's in. If I put orange juice into a carton, well, it takes the shape of the carton. It flows right in there. If I put it in a cup, it now takes the shape of the cup, right? If I put it in a test tube, like to do an experiment with, it takes the shape of a test tube, okay? So it doesn't have its own shape like a solid does. And then it says, and it has definite volume. And it has definite volume, meaning, let's say you all have done your cook and tells by now. So you've each followed a recipe. If you have a liquid, right, and it says you need 1 cup of milk, let's say to make pancakes, okay, and you pour 1 cup of milk out into the measuring cup. Now you have it measured, it's 1 cup. It changed shape from the carton into the measuring cup, but it's still 1 cup. Now, if I take that same cup of milk and I pour it into a bowl with the pancake mix, it pours in, it starts to take a different shape, but it's still 1 cup of milk. The amount doesn't change, right? So it has a definite volume or amount of space, but it doesn't have a definite shape. All right, and gas is a matter that completely fills a closed container and takes its shape. It takes the volume of its container. The atoms are very far apart and they move quickly. Any container that is closed has some kind of gas in it, meaning air, right? Air is all around us. Now, most gases are invisible, but there are some that you can see, like vapor, which is when water turns into gas. Often you can smell gas, right? And there's gas all around us. So like we said, there's air, there's helium. Have you ever seen anybody suck on a balloon and then they talk and they sound like this? They sound, right, their voice gets high like a little chipmunk. That's helium. That's a gas. You can't see it. It changes your voice though, and that one doesn't smell. But there are gases that smell, there are gases that don't smell. All right, now I want to apply this to what we've been learning about where our food comes from. Click on the next video so that we can talk about the different states of matter in our food.